Hello and welcome, Bears fans, to Bear Football here on the Barroom Network. John Buffone alongside Aldo Gandia and Tyler Ellis. Guys, we're talking about a Bears victory, a solid Bears victory. They defeat the Las Vegas Raiders by a score of 20-9. A solid performance on both sides of the ball. A lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to look forward to, a lot of things to break down, but let's go around the horn. Aldo, initial reactions as soon as this game hit triple zeros.
Well, I got to tell you that there are a lot of individual efforts, performances that we will be talking about over the next hour, hour and a half, hour long we're on. But this guy right here, Khalil Mack, I'm surprised Tyler's not wearing his jersey. What's up, brother?
Gotta switch it up.
But that individual effort really meant a lot to me as a fan of Khalil Mack, and I'm sure it meant a lot to him. It was, as 4,000 Clovers said, that was definitely his revenge game. I do think from a team perspective that this team played good complementary football. Every time the offense had to do something, they did. Every time the defense had to do something, with the exception of one blemish, in my opinion, they did. This was outstanding football. Even the coaching staff gets credit after this. So I am really very, very happy. And I think that this team now we can safely say, and with some confidence say, that they can contend for the division championship.
Gaines, what do you see out there?
Okay, so initial reactions, Super Bowl shuffle, baby. We going all the way.
Just let us have this one. Let's have this one, Tyler. Let's worry about the rest of it.
Hey, Bears Nation, thank you all for joining us this evening. The Bears got a W. We keep it real when we lose, and we dang sure going to celebrate when we win. A great overall team victory in every phase of the game. I just tweeted this thing out. Once upon a time, every time the Bears kicked the field goal, it was a heart attack moment. That was a horror story that our grandchildren, we should never tell that story to. We should just, Carlos Santos, the longest active streak with field goals, John, on every aspect of the game. I am impressed with the toughness. How much we got embarrassed in London to come out like this at their home, quote unquote. We talked about this last week. Their home field, because there's a lot of Bears fans there. I think it was a great showing of the Bears as we have a winning freaking record, and now we beating an AFC team twice.
Guys, you know what I love seeing on that box score between Khalil Herbert and Damian Williams? 34 carries for almost 140 yards. They were road graders today, making running lanes. Khalil, I think we had a coming out game here for Khalil Herbert, because we weren't really sure what to expect from this guy. Despite playing pretty well in the preseason, we weren't sure how he was going to react being in a regular season NFL game, and he showed that he was ready for the challenge. And this is a guy who might see more and more carries. If David Montgomery is out for another 4 weeks or so, that 16 or he had 18 carries today, he might be a 20 carry guy. He could be a 21, 22 carry guy. Obviously, Damian Williams is fully capable as well. He's the guy that you might have a little bit, have more involved in the passing game. But Khalil Herbert runs with a purpose. They even mentioned on the broadcast numerous times that they remind him of David Montgomery and his running style. I think that they got a real find in Khalil Herbert, and not to mention the other Khalil had a game as well. Both Khalils on this squad had a real game. But Aldo, how about that rushing attack? Because that took so much pressure off of Justin Fields and allowed him to have an efficient day, 12 of 20 for 111 and a touchdown. But it's got to feel good knowing you can just hand that ball off to one of those two running backs, and they're gonna get you some yards. Both Herbert and Williams averaged over 4 yards per carry. Herbert with 4.2 and Damian Williams with 4 yards even. That's just so big for the development of this quarterback.
Absolutely. You guys all know that I'm the old timer here at the Barroom Network, and I always go back to NFL films for inspiration. There's a famous line read by John Facenda, that voice of God, and he said, go forward and fight them. Be savage again. And that's what the offensive line did. They went forward and they played in a savage manner, and the yards and the holes were there for the yards. And, big tip of the hat to the play calling by Bill Lazor and the running by those guys behind that great effort by the offensive line. And we talked about this on a number of our shows. We talked about the fact that the Raiders now had that Lions game tape to take a look at what they did with those multiple tight ends to help out the offensive line and so forth. What they didn't expect was Alex Bars coming in there and being that extra offensive tackle. And that really helped the game plan and really helped with the execution of the run game. I think that finally Coach Matt Nagy has found something that he can use his innovative way of calling plays and putting it together a scheme that's going to help this team, but leave the play calling to Bill Lazor because he's got a better sense of tempo, because he can set up a defense for what he wants to do later in the game. He's got all the tools to be an outstanding playmaker. Please, Matt Nagy, leave that menu alone. Don't touch it. Work with the crew at putting together the schemes and the game plan, and then step away and yell and scream at the officials.
Yeah. I was going to say, following up on that, you were talking about Bill Lazor, how he should never be bothered again as far as play calling goes. Does this kind of cement that?
It definitely cements it, Brother John. But also what I saw during the game was Bill Lazor being able to sit alongside Justin Fields. And Nagy, a head coach, can't do that during the course of a game. And you got to be able to adjust on the fly. It's a long game. And what I like, the Bears actually got off to a fast start. And that's what I loved about the tenacity of this team, because this is kind of how I thought the Cleveland game was going to go, because we were battling Cleveland. It was a close game to halftime. But if you leave a team around, they're going to take advantage. The Raiders, they tried to come out in the halftime and take over, but thank God we had that cushion. This definitely cements Bill Lazor as calling the plays. All the cutback lanes were open for the running back. That's a tribute to the interior line of scrimmage. And then and even on the passing routes, the back shoulder throws, getting to that first down marker. How many first downs did we end up getting? Was it like 18 or 22? When it was around, I just kept they were just stacking up, like moving the chains, getting a field goal range. And so this definitely cements Lazor as the offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears going forward. Good times ahead, guys. This is a very big deal.
Talking about calling a good game, let's not forget to give credit to Sean Desai, because I think that's flying under the radar too, because we put so much emphasis on the offense and how it's performing. How about Sean Desai coming in and getting more pressure on the quarterback than we ever saw with Chuck Pagano back there? Another 3 sacks today, but more than just the sacks was the constant pressure around Derek Carr. 3 sacks today, I believe, 1 by Gibson, 1 by Mack, and 1 by Trevis Gibson, who's emerging as a beast in the pass rush game. He's earning himself more and more playing time. But guys, that pass rush is taking, I think, a lot of pressure off the secondary. I know we talk about the secondary holding their coverage long enough to get those sacks, but it's a two-way street as far as I'm concerned. The fact that they can get that much pressure and they're getting the most out of Robert Quinn and Khalil Mack. Did Sean Desai find the golden key that unlocks this pass rush? What's going on, Aldo?
Well, I think, Sean Desai and Mike Pettin, I think, deserves credit. I think I mentioned in last week's show, Pettin came from Green Bay with the ability, the reputation of creating blitz schemes and pass rushing schemes that free up people. Those were the words exactly from Aaron Rodgers after he's faced Pettin's defense in practice a number of times. And he said, this guy is good. And so I think that's one of the reasons Pettin was brought here, is to help cash in on the talents of Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn and the rest of those pass rushers. And I do believe that Sean Desai has done an excellent job, because as Robert Quinn said at a press conference earlier this week, when you get a sack, it is because the defensive backs have good coverage and we got a good pass rush on the offensive line. So it works in combination. And I think that there's a lot of credit to be handed to the different coaches and different players. That's why we're seeing such success on this defense. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'm so proud of this football team. I just sat there watching this game and feeling like this is the team that I've been searching for. This is beautiful football. It's Bear football. It's great.
Talking about that defense, Tyler, who was your standouts today? Obviously, Khalil Mack was making his presence known, but there's a lot of credit to give out today. Who stuck out to you?
There is a lot of credit to give out, but you did talk about Gibson, and I just really want to shout him out because it was the way he got the sacks. It was the way he fought off the block with a strong jab to the offensive man's shoulder. What I saw him do in college, but the fact that I think he put on about 20 pounds of muscle over this past offseason, and that's allowed him to play at an NFL level of strength and get him around the court. He stood out to me because you got horses and you got dogs. And that's what it takes to win in this league. This is not time to be nice. When we get close to the cold weather, you want guys that can play physical. So my man, I think both Gibsons. Even our guy came back, safety came back. We were missing him for the past 2 weeks. And so I feel like Eddie was able to play a little bit more free, having even though Bush fell in admirably over the past couple of weeks, but having Gibson back in the secondary, Gibson down at under line scrimmage, that's what stood out to me. I can go on and on because Roquan Smith was laying people out. That he was laying people out. And even though he got caught with a flag, John, everything he did was with his shoulder. It was, I don't wish injury for nobody, but Roquan was leading with his shoulder. And as a football player, that's what you do. And if Roquan doesn't do it, then you're just letting people catch the ball. And we just can't do that. But so much to talk about. I'm gonna keep going, John.
Well, we're here.
Because even our man Tyler, even our young corner was checking Waller one-on-one in the red zone. What? Mm-hmm. It was like a 5-inch difference. And Carr tried to throw a basketball throw to him, and he stopped it. It was just so much to take away from the secondary when you're talking about coach Desai. I'm trying to not get over positive because next week is the real test. It gets real next week. But for the Raiders were a 3-1 team, gentlemen. Let's just keep that going on. Let's also remember all the freaking experts, the smart geniuses with the pocket protectors. They all picked the Raiders to win this game. Okay, and so just give a perspective. There was a lot to take away.
Tyler's so hype. I think he gave credit to Kevin Tolliver there for a second. I love it. Let's give everybody some credit for this one. Everybody was part of this team win. Everyone needs today.
The way he was clapping.
Yeah. Even Kevin Tolliver gets some credit for that win today. But to your point, there was a full team victory, something that we haven't really seen too much in recent history, just because it's the defense really is the driving force behind this, or mainly the defense was the driving force behind this. But today you saw a balanced attack. You saw them, especially at the end, when they needed to eat up some clock. They got the drive going, and they ran a long drive to really drain out that clock. And Aldo, we got Matt Nagy ready to go?
No, we don't. That was a mistake on my part. Please continue.
But I was going to say, when the offense needed to get out there, drive the ball down the field, they were able to do it. They were able to have a long, sustaining drive, and they were able to do their job, and they didn't put all the pressure back on the defense to make a play. And I know that you're gonna, for like I said, some of the box score bloggers throughout the country are gonna look at it and say, well, Justin Fields, 12 of 20 for 111 yards and a touchdown. That's nothing special. This dude has a command of the offense. If you watch the game, you can tell that this kid has the command of the offense, and is tough as nails, by the way, because like we talked about in halftime, dude was getting lit up. That looked like a bad knee injury he sustained. He was out for 5 minutes, and he came trotting back out. So the Bears have their quarterback. They have a guy who wants to play, who wants to win. And you saw after that touchdown pass to Jesper Horsted, he was confident. He had a little dance to him. He had a little bit of swag to him, but it wasn't one of those. You could just tell his body language. You can really read this kid's body language and saying, that's what I'm here to do, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. So I could not be more pleased with this. Were there some hiccups? Absolutely. Some stupid penalties? Absolutely. Mario Williams has to keep his head about him and not cost them a game against somebody who's a little bit better than the Raiders. There's always going to be things to clean up, but for the most part, the Bears took control of this game, and they didn't really relinquish it. They did get a little lazy in the third quarter, but they never really relinquished control of the game. So that was just an all-around good performance, and nothing jumps off as far as offensively. Nothing jumps out at you as like, wow, look at that statistic. But really, everyone really contributed to it, because if you look at the receiving breakdown, Darnell Mooney, 3 catches for 35. Allen Robinson, 4 for 32. Cole Kmet, 2 for 22. Damian Williams, 2 for 20. It's not, none of those are, Mount Everest spikes, but they all contributed at key parts of the game. So that's what you're worried about. I don't care, because there have been plenty of times in the last 2 years where Allen Robinson had 10 catches for 101 yards and a touchdown. They lost the game. So, so you see everybody contributing to this win. Like I said, very, very pleased with it. Aldo,
and John, let me show you this. I ran a quick poll here with everyone who is with us, and so I asked, who deserves a game ball on offense? 29% Lazor, 23% Fields, 29% the offensive line, 19% other. You know what that means? It's team football. When you get results like that on a poll, there's just not one guy who stood out above everybody else. It's because everybody contributed, and that's why this game was just so beautiful from that standpoint. I love this kind of football. This is the kind of football I love and cherish from the Chicago Bears. This is I just hope that Matt Nagy can bottle it and not interfere and mess things up. I still don't trust that guy. I'm sorry. I don't.
No, I don't either. And that's why I think you see such a big portion of that poll going to Bill Lazor, because you saw night and day when Bill Lazor started taking control of the play calls. And I'm not trying to rehash this whole big talking point, but it's still affecting it. It's still very obvious that when Bill Lazor took over play calling, the offense was better. You saw it today. Last week, it was like, oh, it's just the Lions. Who cares? It's the Lions. They're winless. Now it's against the Raiders, who are 3-1. Maybe not the best defensive squad, but still a good football team. And you saw it again 2 weeks in a row. Bill Lazor calling plays. Bill Lazor being able to put people in position to contribute. That's the difference. And so to your point, Aldo, let's hope that Matt Nagy is okay with other people getting credit beside himself. Yep. Let's hope that whenever they're talking about everyone contributing, he doesn't be like, well, I'm still the head coach. I don't want to hear that anymore.
Yep. I think it's Jesper Horsted who is at the podium right now. If you guys want to listen to a little bit of him, let's
Jesper.
We
might never get this again. We may never get this again. Put it up.
Here we go.
I think that you learn to become patient in this league, and 3 weeks or 4 weeks is nothing compared to like 2 seasons. So I knew it would come eventually, and you just got to be ready for it when it comes. So cool. I'm not used to playing away games where you have a crowd that can rival the home crowd. And especially for this game, they were making so much noise, which really disturbs the opposing offense. And you saw a lot of penalties that are caused solely because of that. So it's great.
How do you think they're filling in, especially there at that drive? You guys went for 4 minutes.
Man, I thought they did a great job. They're 2 different running backs with different styles of play. And you saw they were just kind of running the ball and did well in the pass game too, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, really proud of them too. But it's no surprise. I mean, I've been seeing this since the beginning of camp for both those guys. Kind of what I talked about a couple questions ago, just it was such a overall quality win in all phases of the game, and just how that is going to springboard us into next week. I'm sure there's stuff we can clean up on tape, but really I left that game feeling like the majority of the guys played a really, really solid game.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
What do you think about the fan that just said, I think Jesper Horsted should get the game ball from the offense? What do you guys think about that?
It's your boy, Tyler. Go ahead.
You're muted.
He does have he did have the only touchdown catch of the game, and him and Justin Fields are now attached at the hip. I mean, that's a very big deal. It's a very big deal. I mean, he delivered. I mean, why not? I mean, I'm not mad at it. But when
one catch for 2 yards.
But John, it could have been field goal. It could have been a field goal. At the end of the day, when we ask for things when we lose, we have to appreciate them when they come. And that was for our Bears to be efficient in the red zone when the opportunity presents itself. What if the Bears didn't score 2 touchdowns in the first quarter? Like then we would have went to the half. We went to the half with 6-3. Raiders would have found some way. We can't leave a home team around. They could rally. The Raiders dropped a lot of balls, gentlemen. Let's be real and transparent.
Yeah.
The Raiders dropped a lot of home run balls. Okay, but when a team comes like the Bears and we steal momentum away, when we come in and we punch them in the face, we score back-to-back sacks. Like all these things can shake them all up. And so I feel like everybody's played a part. It's hard to put it to give one person the ball, but total team dominance in terms of like securing the victory.
Yep. I got to say, I posted a video of Jesper when he caught that touchdown. And I said, the Bears should not ignore the fact that they have this weapon. He's proven it over and over again that he can make big plays. Remember the touchdown in Detroit last season. And remember now what he did today in limited action. He deserves to be in the lineup. He deserves to be targeted 3 to 5 to 6 times a game because he's a playmaker. He's a converted wide receiver from Princeton. It took him a while to learn about the tight end position and also to build the bulk to be able to block for that position. But he's ready. He's ready now. He's proven it. And so I wish that he gets more opportunities and also that once the opposing defenses now see the film on him, that he continues to progress and be better as a player, because I truly believe that him and Kmet can be a great tight end duo for this team for many years to come. I know a lot of people are down on Cole Kmet, but I truly believe his time is going to come as a pass catcher. But right now, he's getting the job done as a tackler. It's almost like we got another tackle out there. He's doing a good job. So let's not get too down on him, Bears fans. I think just give him some time. He will react. I remember when Barrelissimo was working here at the bar room, and he provided a scouting report on Cole Kmet, and he said it's going to take him a while to get his pass routes going. Let's see who's at the podium.
Come here and seeing how many Bears fans it was out there today. It's crazy. You can't even think about an away game.
Oops.
How about in the locker room right now, the way you guys are feeling after it?
Oh man, my blood's still going. I feel like I did more in the locker room just now than I did on the field, or the dancing we was doing. But no, it was a great team victory. You know what I'm saying? So we felt good, felt great about this win.
Did you describe the touchdown run you had? What you saw on the play and the spin there before you got in?
Oh no, I kind of see the line collapse and everybody went down, and we've been talking about it all week. If it bounces out, you're gonna be 1-on-1 with the corner. That's all I was thinking about really was getting out there and being 1-on-1 with the corner.
With you being the featured back, how would you grade your performance today?
Say that one more time.
With you being the featured back today, how would you grade your performance?
I feel like we did great just overall as offense. Not kind of, speaking about me, because I wouldn't be able to do anything without the guys in front, the quarterback and the receivers. So I just feel like as an offense, we was on point a little bit.
Was this the best game for your offensive line this season?
So far, I feel like, it's my first time really just being back there like that. I feel like they always, do their thing when it comes to Sunday. I just feel like today was one of them dog fights, and you kind of can really see it come out of them too.
What was your mindset this week? You and Khalil, knowing that you were going to be taking over, taking the load from David.
Well, when you got a guy like David, who's a run hard kind of guy, and he's gonna get them hard yards, that's what everybody expecting, And me being who I am, that's how I'm gonna carry myself as well. We're gonna go in here, we're gonna get these hard yards, and we're gonna keep going. And 2-4 had the same mentality. So whenever I went out, he went in, kept doing the same thing.
One of the opportunities you play last season, you're here in kind of a complimentary role with David. You get a chance to be the guy being named the primary back. What does that mean to you leading up?
Man, being able to just do what I do every day is something special to me. Whether I'm out there first, second, third, as long as I'm out there being able to help my teammates, help my brothers, at the end of the day, I'm happy.
What did you see from Khalil Herbert and as a compliment to you, about David? What did you see from him today?
Man, I was telling him all game, especially coming out in that second half, like, this on you right now. Like, I gave my the first blows in the first half. Now it's your turn to go ahead and get your couple blows in. But I feel like, as a young kid and coming into this type of environment, he held himself great.
And as a rookie, what's the toughest thing for him, do you think, to be able to get over, a hump to get over, to be able to be productive in a game like this?
I just feel like, being consistent, period. I feel like he's a very consistent person. And I feel like if he continues to do that and continues to do that, he's gonna have a long, long future.
Do you have some level of concern when Justin went out there for the brief period?
Not at all, because we got 14 coming in as well. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you worry and like you say, I'm concerned about him because he's one of my brothers. At the end of the day, we had a game to go out here and win, and we need a 1-4 to step up.
That's Damian Williams, who had, what was it, John? He had
16 for 64 and a touchdown.
Right. And 2 catches for 20 yards. So what a player, what a pickup this guy was. I mean, if you saw that Kansas City Super Bowl game where the Chiefs won, Damian could have easily have been the player of the game. And so when the Bears picked him up in the offseason, I went, wow, Ryan Pace, man. Ooh, you're getting it done.
Compared to what they had last year, because when Tariq Cohen got hurt, it was David Montgomery and Cordero Patterson. Now I know Cordero Patterson is lighting it up in the ATL right now. He is far and beyond what he ever was in Chicago, but whenever he was the running back number 2, it just was not really working out. And now the Bears may have sneakily put together the deepest running back room in the entire NFL. Whenever you think of David Montgomery, Damian Williams, now Khalil Herbert, and Tariq Cohen's coming back at some point. So you got more depth in that room than they've had in a really, really long time. It's something to be really excited about. And with the guy who's calling plays now, it looks like he actually wants to utilize that talent in the running back room. So a lot to look forward to because you got young guns there. David Montgomery, super young. Khalil Herbert, super young. Damian Williams, I believe, might be almost 30, but yeah, he's 29. But still, the veteran presence back there, and obviously Tariq Cohen's still young. And if you can limit his workload, then his risk of injury is going to go way down.
A question for both of you guys is, does this feel a little like 2018? I know we're only 5 games into the season, but I almost got that impression that there is this building team chemistry, and that is the defense is going to get the job done with a mighty pass rush and some innovation on the part of the defensive coordinator, and the offense is going to do enough to win. Plus, now we have that added bonus of having a deep running back core that can get stuff done. So you lose a guy like David Montgomery, a top 5 running back in the NFL, and then you come in with Khalil Herbert and Damian Williams. I mean, to me, it feels a little like 2018. What do you guys think?
I want to say, I'll say this. It feels like its own type of identity. Honestly, I feel like 2018 there was a lot of surprise. Like, oh my gosh, Mitch threw like so many touchdowns. So like, we were surprised with a lot of different victories. This one, I feel like success is a planned event, and I feel like with Bill Lazor calling these plays, we're gonna put our quarterback in. We expect Justin Fields to do good. Versus before 2018, it was like, oh my gosh, Mitch played okay. Thank God. And so it was like, this is like, I expect Justin Fields to not throw interceptions, but at the same time, he's still a rookie. This feels a little bit more better, regardless of the result. I know 18, the playoff run and everything else, but I feel like this team can be better than that team. And I not just from a stats, I'm just talking about from a team camaraderie. I believe the Chicago Bears has one of the best front sevens in the NFL. That is my honest opinion. And we saw that today because Jacobs is a dynamic football player. And the fact that we were able to hold that core, they almost abandoned the run. Between the secondary that I thought was a huge question mark, John, coming to the season. I thought the secondary was a huge question mark. For them to play like they're playing right now, I feel like this team right now could be better than that 2018 team because, John, like you just said, the depth at wide receiver, running back, and pass rush. What say you?
I'm not ready to take that plunge just yet, but keep in mind that the 2018 Bears did start 3-3 and then won 9 of 10 to finish the season. So it's not like that isn't what could be happening now. I also need to see it maybe against a really good team, and I think the Green Bay game next week will be the ultimate barometer.
If we win next week, John. If we win next week, John. If we win next week,
I'll come around and say this has real potential. If they go in and they beat Green Bay, I say this team has real potential because they're beating a team that a lot of people say is a Super Bowl contender. And so far, no one's really saying that about Las Vegas. No one really saying that about Cincinnati. No one was saying that about Detroit. They go in and they beat Green Bay. They're for real. They're for real. And even if they really hold their own against Green Bay, and it's a, knockdown, drag out, 3-point, field goal ends it kind of thing. If they can hold their own against Green Bay, not that they have to prove anything to me. I'm just talking about my own personal beliefs in this team, is that I think that they got a real fighting chance. And I know that Green Bay isn't as scary as they have been in years past, and they played tooth and nail with Cincinnati today. But week 1 was an absolute disaster, but they seem to get back on track. But if they can, then you know what? They really got something cooking, as long as their meddling head coach stays out of the way.
Roquan Smith at the podium.
Defense and offense play as well, and we feel like doing our job, special teams included, then we can make a lot of things happen.
When you separate receiver from the ball, prevent a touchdown, how's that unnecessary?
It was a nice play. I figured he was gonna throw it up to him, and I just played through his hands. Get coached on it every week. So
I'm sorry, not that one. The one you got penalized for the unnecessary roughness.
Unnecessary roughness. What play?
In the end zone.
Oh yeah. I thought that was BS. I was like unnecessary. Yeah, I thought that was BS. It was like when I seen the play, it was like Vildor actually had knocked it out looking at it on film, but only thing I seen was the guy had the ball in his hand. And I'll have to look back at it, but I don't think I put my helmet in there. I think I put my shoulder, and then they called it, so it's a flag, but it is what it is.
Back. Stop in the first half on 3rd down on Derek Carr. What would you see on that play?
I seen him with the run fake, and then I seen him keep it, and I guess he thought he was gonna get him an easy first down. So I said, "No, let me stop you for a second."
It felt like he had a big boost on the final 4th down with the whole crowd yelling. It felt like it was a Bears game.
Yeah, man, there was a lot of Bears fans here. I didn't know. I knew there was Bears fans everywhere, but I didn't know they get down like this. So when they were saying the "Let's go Bears," that was huge, and felt like we were at home for a second.
So when a player plays at your level, usually it seems to sometimes get the benefit of the doubt on close plays. You don't seem to. Does that ever bother you?
Not at all. I don't want shit given to me. I want to get everything the hard way. So that's how I live. That's how I'll always live, and I won't change. I'll get it.
But do you think you'll ever reach that point where, because of who you are,
I don't want favors in life. That's not me. Nor do I want favors out on the field. So I don't really care about getting calls here and there. It is what it is. They call it, so be it.
Put out defense. What does that say about the guys who are on that side of the ball and how you guys have been?
Absolutely, yeah. It sucks, having a leader like Akeem out. But it's next man up, and there's a lot of good guys in that room, in the defensive line room, rotating those guys in and out. So I tip my hat off to those guys. Those guys play hard each and every day, practice hard each and every day. So got a lot of respect for them. I don't really know, and I don't care. I just know it was the game this week, and we won.
You guys had the dime. You guys had dime personnel out there a lot. How about DHC making that play? It seems like he's playing more on defense.
DHC.
Oh, absolutely. The guy number was called, so he stepped up and made some big plays, and the guy worked his tail off each and every week. I don't know anyone that works harder than 36, and, man, I got a lot of respect for the guy as a player and as a person, so I'm very excited and very happy that he was able to make some plays out there.
What's interesting is that I think it was Patrick Finley tweeted out that DHC is very, very happy and comfortable with his role as a special teams player and to be an asset on the defensive backfield, not as a starter, but as a role player. But you got to wonder, after the big plays that he continues to make over and over again, could he potentially be the starter after Gibson is gone, or maybe even replace Eddie Jackson, who a lot of us are not totally happy with? It's interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Roquan Smith probably inadvertently just got himself fined like $10,000 for calling that play BS. But
you're right about that.
Money well worth it. But to be able to step in like that with Akeem Hicks out and to be able to still have that kind of performance, it's really, really encouraging. And I wanted to respond to a comment that I just saw in the chat room about how I and many other people said that Las Vegas would be a measuring stick.
Mhm.
First of all, the question that was presented to me was, can the Bears be 2018 Bears? No, that's not what there it is right there. The question that was asked to me is, can the Bears be the 2018 Bears? After this, I'm not going to say they're the 2018 Bears. I said it was a measuring stick of whether this team could be a solid, successful team, potentially make the playoffs. That's what I'm talking about. Not being 12-4 and winning the division. I'm not saying they're at that point yet. So let's make sure we're on the same page. But that being said, that the defense did play really well. DHC making plays, and the front seven is going to carry this team because I still want to see that Eddie Jackson moment. Now, we've had a few flashes this year. Obviously, he's made some plays, but you'd like to see that consistent Eddie Jackson contribution. And outside of almost getting that fumble on the goal line, we're still kind of waiting for it.
Here comes the coach.
Just make it real simple. And these guys, they fight. They don't care what's going on other than it's a brotherhood. They talked about it in there. It's a brotherhood right now. And it's tight. These guys love each other. And when you love each other, man, you play hard for each other. It's crazy how that works, you know? So, and then what happens is you put yourself in an opportunity, you give yourself chances to win. And when you win, things get better. And then you start to get a little bit of momentum. But we've been through some tough times together, not just this year, but the previous years. It's calloused us. It's made us tougher. But in the end, you get to see true colors of people. It reveals a lot about a lot of people. And I just know that locker room right now of the people that we have in there, it's real, it's authentic, and it makes it fun to coach. No, I mean, he just was out there, you know, you saw the hit he took, you know, and then, you know, went in, came back in, and then did the same thing later on. I mean, I just say this, you know, that son of a buck is tough. He is tough. He's proven that when he was in college. He proved it out here. And then, you know, same thing with Andy being able to come in for that time that he was out and convert that third down. So there's so many pieces to this thing today. That's why I put it in one of those deals where it was fun to coach these guys.
Matthew, run the ball the way you did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it talks a lot to the offensive line and tight ends. It talks a lot to those running backs. It talks a lot to our coaches for getting those guys ready. I think you're starting to see I think you guys would probably agree there's a little bit of an identity going on right now. And so that's real. And how do you build off of that? I know, you know, Demo is at home right now watching this, and he's proud. He's proud of these guys because he mentors these guys. And Damian Williams to step up, has 16 carries. Khalil Herbert to come in as a rookie and run the football like he did. That's impressive. Michael Petrie's coaching the heck out of these guys. And when you have that running game, it certainly makes things a lot easier in a lot of different ways. I'll remind you that defense we played against today was pretty good, and they get after you. And you got to be careful with how much you get into drop backing, and because they don't need to blitz a lot. They play their stuff and they get after you on the edge. So you got to be able to run it, and our guys did that.
With regard to the running game, how does the emphasis on improving the running in the last 2 weeks? I mean, all the tight end usage, the extra blocker, the extra tackle. How much has that had an effect? How important has that been to this? It's
been very important for a lot of different reasons, and that's what I think is so neat to see. Is you know, I just think that Bill Lazor has done a phenomenal job at being able to come in here and get guys in a rhythm and be able to feel, you know, who's hot and where we're at, and the other coaches on staff being able to help out. It's a group deal, so everybody included is what makes it special. And some of that stuff is where we feel like we have a strength. And, you know, again, we get into the tight end targets every week, and I don't know which direction that's going to go, but I do know this. And I'm excited to watch it tonight on the plane ride, but I know those tight ends are blocking their butts off right now. And as much as it is for the O-line to help block, those guys need them.
You talk about that 3rd and 12 play,
yeah.
Mooney over the middle, kind of, is that where it was designed?
Yep, it was. No, the play was designed to go there, depending on what we thought they were going to be in. And then we have some, you know, different parts of the progression. But Justin has waited, you know, all week. We kind of had that bad boy sitting there waiting for that moment. Now, I don't know if it's to win the game, but it's one of those crucial 3rd and 12s. That was a big time play in that game. And if you don't get that now, the momentum meter swings to them big time. And so Mooney to get open, make a play. Justin went through his progression. The offensive line blocked. Justin made a great throw, and Mooney made a great catch, and it was first down.
Is that the best game? Is that the best game this season for your O-line?
On the road. Can you ask me that tomorrow? when I watched it tonight. I would say it felt good to be able to have all those rushes. What was it, 37, 38 rushes for whatever it was. I think that it felt like we were rushing the ball for 5 yards a carry, and when you have that, it's huge. So I could say partly yes.
Back to the 3rd and 12. Are you expecting them to drop 8 there like that? And when they do, I mean, how hard of a throw does that become for Justin?
Yeah, the extra dropper can make it difficult when you have that drop 8. But at the same point in time, depending on where you're at with the levels of your throws, he stays within his progression. That's what he did. All the guys on that play did what they were supposed to do. Justin made his progression, stayed within it. And then you got to make the throw. You got to be able to see it. And he did that.
What have you thought of Justin's ability to adapt as a guy who's making his 3rd start? It's been choppy in some other parts of the offense the last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
For him to be able to manage less than perfect situations
sure.
at this stage.
Yeah, that's a big part of this. He's been able to grow. He's been able to. I think that's what we want to see is constant improvement, being able to play smart. That touchdown pass he had down there in that situation, to be able to give an opportunity and not throw it away because he wasn't open, right? But a lot of times that's what happens inside the 5 and 10 yard line in the red zone in this league. He made a great throw, and so that's growth for him. I just think there's so much to take out of this situationally. The way he was able to get the guys in and out of the huddle, being able to even at the end of the game there was like 33 seconds on the play clock. And we wanted to, it was after the injury, we wanted to be able to milk the clock down and use everything. And I wasn't sure if we told him, but sometimes you get in a moment, he let that thing run the whole way down. You saw him standing there waiting. Those extra seconds matter. So there's a little bit of growth there for just that example.
You mentioned identity.
Yeah.
I mean, finally, I know that's been something you've been looking for a little bit over the last couple of years.
Right.
To be finding it now, how encouraged are you? It's early in the year still.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels good to have that. And now what we got to do is make sure as we go through the identity, figure out where
after
we're at.
How many years?
3.5 years.
Oh gosh, it is funny that it had to take this for him to recognize that the identity of this team has been and is today the running game. It was, and it may have cost us games and maybe playoff wins because he didn't get it, because he was so stubborn to instill his offense, that offense he wants to run as a quarterback, and overlooked that the real strength of this team offensively is for it to be run based. It's kind of sad, but I'm happy for him. I'm hoping that he continues to learn his lesson, and that because if he does, I think we're going to win a lot of football games this year.
Well, although it looked today and the last 2 weeks that Matt Nagy is finally allowing this team to be the Chicago Bears and not the Kansas City Chiefs. Mm-hmm. It looks like you finally look over this team and say, let's play like the Chicago Bears instead of trying to be somebody else. And I don't know if anyone's ever seen that movie, Cool Runnings, with the Jamaican bobsled team, but it's just like, but they're always trying to be the Swiss, and finally Sanka says, would you shut up about the damn Swiss? So they started bobsledding like Jamaicans, and the Bears are finally playing like the Chicago Bears. So hopefully we see that trend continue. And I saw a comment in the chat room. It's like, it's amazing what Nagy can see whenever he's the head coach or something of that nature, which is true. You can you don't have to have your eyes buried in the play call, and you can look over the entire atmosphere, the entire scene of the game. You can have the pulse of the game and understand what's going on. Now, still had to call a timeout right before an extra point, but we'll let him have that one. But anyway, this works. This appears to work. So let's just hope that it continues that way. He seemed very selfless today. I don't know. One of the PR reps finally got a hold of him and said, hey, we all know you're the head coach. You don't have to remind anybody tomorrow.
You got that, right?
Yeah. You notice one time he didn't tell anybody that he's the head coach. That was good. That was great. And he gave Bill Lazor credit without saying, I have the final say. So it was really good to see that. And he's right. The coaching staff is doing very well. And especially we don't talk about Petrie, the running back coach, very much, but look what he's doing with these guys. Mm-hmm. Look, like he's got them all ready to play. So Nagy's right in the aspect that the coaching staff is doing their job, including him, which his job right now is to stay out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Tyler, what do you think about the prospects next week against the Green Bay Packers? I know you're always a glass half full guy, but realistically, did you see any of that Packers game against the Bengals today?
I was all in that game.
Me too. And what I saw was a team that is ready to lose against the Chicago Bears next week. And I'm not saying that from a fan perspective. I'm saying that from the perspective. I don't think the Packers are who a lot of people thought they were. Not me, but a lot of other people. I'm sorry. Your thoughts, Tyler?
No, my first thoughts. I'm half Jamaican. I just want to give John a lot of credit for referencing Cool Runnings. I can't just. That was such a cool reference. I'm like, damn, John. I want to drive to your house right now and give you a beer, bro. Like, I got that movie on VHS, bro. I grew up.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so much respect for. Shout it out to Jamaicans. But no, the Bengals should have won that game. The Bengals had the game. The Packers, I think Crosby, the downfall. I think he missed like 3 straight field goals in that game. I think they ended up at the end. I turned it off. I'm like, come on, Bengals, let's finish the game. But they're gonna move Devontae Adams all over the place. They're gonna try to do screens to him. They're gonna try to move into the slot. We're gonna have to gang tackle Aaron Jones. That's the main thing that I saw from that game. But anyway, our starting quarterback.
Just keep myself going. So.
Touchdown throw. You had how you were feeling in that moment too, feeling with that shot you were taking on time.
When you're in that moment, you can't think about what's hurting. You just have to think about executing that play. So, of course, Jasper was kind of open in the back of the end zone with the DB had his back turned. So, of course, I knew that he couldn't see the ball, so I just threw it up and gave Jasper a chance. And, of course, he came down with it. So. On that one, just give him a chance. Just put it where the defender isn't, because the defender can't see the ball. So just give him a receiver a chance.
On the last field goal drive you guys had, the second to last field goal drive, you had the 3rd and 13 at Mooney. What did you see on that play with the way they were playing coverage, and what's the key to making sure that you guys are on time with that?
Yeah, that's just a timing throw. So we practiced that play throughout the week, and I saw their back, and we're kind of playing the sticks on that. So just that look, just trying to get a first down, trying to keep the drive going. It was a great catch by Mooney and a great call.
To respond with that scoring drive there. What was the energy that you guys took out of that in a game that was obviously an emotional game?
Yeah, it was awesome. Of course, I would have liked to score before that, but it was just awesome seeing everybody rally together and get together and drive the ball on the field.
So how important was it to run the ball the way you guys did today with Damian and Khalil Herbert going for David?
When we can get the run game going like that, it's tough on opposing defenses. So I was glad that the offensive line was able to do that, plus the running backs and the tight end. So I think they did a great job, blocking up front. And, the running backs making plays.
How does it feel at the end of this week? Where I know you started the other games, but you were like picked as the starter, the permanent starter going forward this week, and then you come out here and have this win on the game.
I feel like it was the same as last week. I had a pretty good idea that I was gonna play last week. So I kind of approached the week the same. Just playing the same and making sure I'm ready.
Look, we've heard about your boys since you got here. We've seen it on that 3rd and 12. Stadium as loud as we got all games. Ice more than your things. What are you thinking there? How do you execute?
Just get the first down. That's all I'm thinking. Stay in the pocket. Find a way to get a first down. So that was what was going through my head at the moment.
The hit you took in the first quarter, you were over there being checked. Did it make you nauseous or ill? Or?
Nah. So I got the wind knocked out of me, so that made the hit worse. So couldn't breathe really, to be honest with you. But I was good after a while.
With the effective run game, besides just the down and distance advantage situations, is it just how much does it help just to know that it's not going to all be on you when you see how effective you were running the ball without that cover?
It's awesome. I think it gets our offense going. I think it gets our O-line confidence that that we're moving those guys up front. So like I said, if we can get the running game going like that every week, it's definitely going to open the offense up.
When you first went down with the leg injury, what was the first thing that crossed your mind when you're trying to figure out what happened there?
I knew I hyperextended it. I was just trying to see if I can get up, and then I was just able to walk off the field, and then after a while I could start feeling my strength getting back. So I was just trying to see how stable it was and seeing if I could run on it.
Can you describe what the environment in there in the locker room's been the last hour?
Everybody's excited. Of course, that was a big win for us, and just coming here on the road, it was awesome. Not having David out there. I think, Damian and Khalil, they picked up the running game for sure. And I mean, everybody's happy in there. I mean, it's definitely always better leading with the win.
What type of club dub guy are you?
I'm dancing there. So so y'all might see a video later in the year or something. So who knows? We'll see. Are you talking about a touchdown?
Yeah, the touchdown.
All I did was, when I saw that, I just stood there and I was like, yo, that was crazy. But I mean, yeah, I wish I could do that. That's all I got to say about that. I wish I could do that, but I mean, Damian's a great player, and he's a.
All right, great job by Justin Fields. Great press conference. Boy, that guy has a certain charisma to him, doesn't he, Tyler?
Very calm, collective dude. He is a dancer. He can't be like wild. Like I saw a lot of his college stuff. He is a character with his friends when he's comfortable, when he trusts the environment. And it's just like our brother said in the chat. If we have a franchise quarterback, and it feels different when he's hungry, appreciative, and he's waiting to get better. And he is. I think he's still learning to go through his progressions. I think he's still learning these things. I did see a couple of balls that he checked down. I saw Darnell Mooney had actually beat his defender over top on the seam route, but he checked it down to Damian, got the first down, no big deal. But Mooney was open. It could have been a touchdown. But it's okay. Like, we're not going to, he's learning. He's hungry. He wants to win. And I don't know. I just had a vision of him, winning a Super Bowl. Like, I'm not, John, I just got this vision.
No, it's good. I'm not going to tell you not to.
I literally got this vision of confetti. And I'm like, dang, this dude, wow, it's possible. Like, it's more than possible. And going back to next week against the Packers, Fields gives us opportunity that you just can't. He's another running back. And that affects the defense when you're trying to scheme and shut him down. We got plenty of speed, but if you're going to leave, I just see Allen Robinson being open a lot on one-on-ones. And so it's just going to be – I'm excited. I'm kind of just beside myself right now. So but I just got really jacked up all of a sudden.
Going into next week, the Packers showed they have some deficiencies. Jair Alexander, I believe their cornerback is not going to – he could be out for the rest of the season. Right. So he's certainly not going to be there next week. And you see Jamar Chase have 6 catches for 159 yards and a touchdown against the Packers today. Joe Burrow lighting them up for 281 and 2 touchdowns. T. Higgins 5 catches for 32 yards. So there are yards to be had against this Green Bay defense. They didn't run the Bengals didn't run the balls particularly well, but I believe Joe Mixon might have got out of the game, or he might have got hurt again. But anyway, there will be things to exploit with the Green Bay defense next week. Now, does that mean Justin Fields will have to take a bigger role? Will it be more on him to get it done down the field? Maybe, and I think that he's capable of doing that. And maybe you finally see a huge Allen Robinson game next week. Whenever you see the Bengals #1 be able to, a rookie, by the way, be able to light up that defense, why can't Allen Robinson do that, or Darnell Mooney do that next week? So I believe there will be opportunities for them to take advantage of that secondary in Green Bay and potentially come out with a win. And Tyler, I'm not going to fault you for thinking about a Super Bowl with this team. Maybe not particularly this year, but I'm more confident in the Bears winning a Super Bowl in the near future now than I have been in the last ever, maybe, because you see what they have at quarterback, because you see the kind of character he has. And Aldo, to your point, he has a certain attitude, or he has a certain swag about on when he's doing press conferences, but it's not like it's just because of his confidence. He's just stone cold throughout everything. No matter if he's scoring touchdowns and throwing picks, it is the same. He is focused, laser focused, Bill laser focused the whole way through. And so I'm really excited to see where this kid can take the Chicago Bears, not just this year, but in the next 15 years. Because I think they finally got it right. I think that they finally got it right. This kid is the goods.
Yeah, and it was actually because I love all 5 quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round. To me, all 5 of them are can't miss quarterbacks. But to land Justin Fields with the 11th overall pick, the 4th quarterback chosen in this draft, I think that's a miracle, man. That is like the Chiefs getting Patrick Mahomes, and of course Justin has to prove it. So there's still a long road to go. But that's how I feel, having really taken a deep look at all 5 of those quarterbacks. All of them outstanding. But, man, Justin Fields, the 4th overall quarterback taken in that draft, falls to 11, and the Bears move up to get him.
Right.
That's, as critical as I am of Ryan Pace, that's one of the ones that you can notch up for him and say, man, that was great. You did a great, great job. And he's missed on Adam Shaheen. He's missed on Kevin White. He's missed on other picks, but he has made some really good picks. And this time when he traded up for Justin Fields, that's a gold star, man.
And I know you talk about it because I think Patrick Mahomes was like the 10th quarterback, the 10th quarterback pick that draft.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of teams passed him because they said he was too raw. And so, like, getting Justin Fields, I feel like you're right. We got a Swiss Army knife. That is which Patrick Mahomes is. You're absolute right, bro. And that's the exciting part of it because it's exactly what the Bears needed. We needed a go-go gadget. When I say that, I mean a guy who can do a little bit of everything. He could do a lot of everything. And it starts with the locker room, his pregame speech, his pregame momentum, how he's talking to the offense, how he's addressing his teammates, how he's holding himself accountable.
Yep.
Anybody can be a star, man. It's how you hold yourself to a standard, and people are going to follow your example, not just your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important for Bears fans to understand that as they enter this gauntlet of a schedule, the heart of their schedule, where they play some really good teams, there are going to be bad games potentially for Justin Fields. And it's important to keep being excited about this kid because he's still in his rookie season. There are going to be rookie mistakes. We've seen a few already, but there are going to be bumps in the road. He's going to take a bad sack, or he's going to throw a bad pick, or there's going to be something that goes on where he's just not efficient for spurts. But that's what happens in a rookie season. So we should still be excited about this kid for the rest of the year, into next year and beyond, because we've seen what he brings to the table. We're going to get all those rookie mistakes out now. So by the time that he comes into his stride and whoever is at the helm at head coach, whether it's Matt Nagy or anyone else, he's ready to take this team to the next level. But let's also be patient and understand that not everything is going to be pristine throughout the rest of 2021. But that does not erase the fact that this kid is going to do special things for the organization.
Mm-hmm.
John, you just made a really great point because the Bengals actually had the game won, and Joe Burrow threw a last-minute interception that nobody was even open. I don't even know who he was throwing to. And Justin Fields didn't throw an interception today, guys. Mm-hmm. That was pretty – and no turnovers. And I also saw him throw the ball away. Take the sack, no fumble, very good. He fumbled a couple times ago, interception ago. This is the progression that I'm liking seeing in this guy. He's making those steps. I'm not sure how Lance finished the game out today, but I think he started with an interception. And so, like, these guys you run your own race. I'm not going to compare him to everybody else because everybody had different situations. Mm-hmm. But the fact that the Chicago Bears, this is a big market with a lot of pressure, and there's a window. We're operating on the window right now. Okay, and I think if we want to get back to the defense, I personally want to give Khalil Mack an extra $2 million bonus for this week. Give him an extra $2 million bonus. It's situational performances. Like on that 2-point conversion, the sack, that was a big sack. It's situational. Those are the things that I was really loving.
There's Trey Lance's numbers: 15 out of 29, no touchdown passes, 1 interception, a 17-10 loss against Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. Interesting that Trey Lance, who in his very first play threw a touchdown, but now starting as a game, he looked like all of these other first-round quarterbacks who had a tough time in the first 3-4 games of the season before finally settling in. And it almost seems to me like Justin Fields has progressed maybe faster than any quarterback except the 5th quarterback chosen in the draft, Mac Jones. So that's interesting. Hey, I got the NFL has posted highlights from the game, and what I'd love to do is take us. If we can take us through that first drive where the Bears, again, after going 3 and out on their first 2 drives, and the Bears defense being out there for 13 plays against the Vegas Raiders. All of a sudden now, I've just felt it in my bones. The Bears have to move the chains. They got to keep this defense out. It was like 4 or 5 minutes left in the first quarter. I tweeted out, this Bears defense needs to rest until the second quarter. Well, let's take a look at the highlight package that the Bears, that the NFL put together. This is a 2nd down and 22. Huge play here because this was a penalty that gave the Bears some life on this drive, because 2nd down and 22 ain't a pretty thing, right?
Yeah. They got bailed on that first drive. They did get bailed out a few times, but it's all, I mean, there are plenty of teams that caught a lot of good calls today and weren't able to capitalize on it. As you see that pass to Damian Williams there, getting it past midfield. If you're given a chance, you better take advantage of it. If you're bailed out by the other team, make it hurt. You don't want to take a roughing the passer call and then still go 3 and out. That means you didn't do anything with it. And you see their consistent drives.
And I want to give the credit to Ryan now for the blocking he did today too. He cleared the way on a lot of these I formation runs. That was pretty freaking awesome.
Now on this play, this is the Khalil Herbert run play. I keep an eye on the left tackle, Jason Peters. The left tackle, he's going to go back, and then he's going to find a safety, and watch what he does to him. Bam! Holy, I love that kind of football.
That's old man can still move. Old man can still move a little bit.
And Fields keep things moving, using A-Rob for kind of a high percentage pass. There wasn't a lot of play action today. I kind of noticed. I'll have to go back and look at the film, but I thought they could have done a little bit better of a job of handling play action. And, of course, this is the pass to Jesper Horsted that scores the touchdown. And there was a Chicago Bears fan, who was seated up in the nosebleed seats, and he posted the video of this play. And it was interesting because it was like an all 22 highlight of it. And that was the only pass Justin Fields could make. Everybody else was guarded, and he made the right decision. He forced it into Jesper, but he knew that Jesper had the size, the height against that defender. And so that was just a brilliant decision by Justin Fields. A great series by the Chicago Bears.
It was very funny what he said in press conference. He said Jesper was kind of open. He said he was kind of open.
Kinda. I made him open.
and those are those things. That's that. You got like tiers of quarterbacks, and that's when you say he has those essence of greatness, because those great ones just figure out a way to make a play happen rather than throw it away. That's it's a 50-50 ball. He gave him a chance. It wasn't intercepted. If it's intercepted, we say, man, you got to throw those away. But hey, you got it done. You got it done, Rook. Good job.
Yeah, and you look over that, and the comments are true. The Raiders did give them a bunch of bailouts, the bad penalties, the drop passes, but those are some games about, if we would have said this about the Bears a couple weeks ago, even last year, you would say, well, they didn't take advantage of it. Didn't matter. They still lost the game. They were able to take advantage of some of those opportunities and make it hurt. And I think I saw someone in the chat room a while ago bring up that the designed runs for Justin Fields need to be a little less obvious. And I think that's very true, because they were in a very specific formation for that. And I think everyone knew exactly what was going to happen. There needs probably to be a little more deception, especially in that, since in the first half, Justin Fields was an absolute pincushion for the Raiders, whether it be legal hits or not. The dude was taking hit upon hit upon hit. Throw a little deception in there if you're going to have him run it. But overall, a good game plan.
Guys, if we beat the Packers next week, are we in first place?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they'd be tied. Yeah. Well, no, they would have the tiebreaker with the head-to-head, but they'd have the same record. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be ahead by the tiebreaker, baby. Yeah. That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And Aldo, you were talking about the Raiders and Trey Lance. We're not sure how long Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be out. Now, the Bears do play them on Halloween, which is 3 weeks from now. So it's possible that we do see a Justin Fields, Trey Lance showdown.
We're going to win that game.
It's at Soldier Field. So that's a big help. If it is Trey Lance and Justin Fields.
Every time we was on commercial, I went to it real quick just to check them out real quick, get a scout on report. They soft. Respectfully, with all due respect, I just feel like our defense is
With
physical.
all due respect, you're soft. That's what a qualifier. With all due respect, your team's soft. Yeah.
Should we dress up for Halloween for the Bear football game report?
Yeah.
Let's all three
Hell
wear.
yeah.
At the very least, wear Bears jerseys.
Yeah, I'll be somebody. I don't know. There's so many characters from Bears history to choose from. Who knows?
There really is. But I one more time about Khalil Mack. I just was so impressed with this performance, and I was thinking to myself, of all the games that Khalil Mack has had in the Bears uniform, the first and foremost, his debut against the Packers was outstanding. What he did that day, particularly in the first half of that game on national TV, that was just historic and something that no Bears fan should ever forget. Then there was another game that right now I'm forgetting, but he had another game that I would list as number 2, and then this one at number 3. Oh, the number 2 one was his game against Tom Brady and the Bucs last year.
I was gonna say, because there's the meme of basically Mac over him and Brady looking around like, is anyone blocking this guy?
Yes, exactly. And Tyler's motioning like that when he took Tristan Wirfs, a highly regarded rookie offensive lineman who went on to become on the all-rookie team. But the one bad game he had was against Khalil last year.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was fantastic. So those 3 games right now of Khalil Mack are just masterful. And, there was a lot of talk, and Dan Aguirre, who I love, and we did the Dan and all the Bear Their Shows, Bear Their Souls show. He had given up on Khalil Mack. He just thought that he wasn't playing up to expectations and so forth. But I think what we have seen is that if you have another lineman opposite Khalil Mack, like a Robert Quinn or even a Leonard Floyd when he was at his very best, then that's going to help Khalil Mack a lot to get more one-on-one and less of these double and triple teams. Then the other key thing is the defensive coaching staff. Between Sean Desai and Mike Pettin, they have really given this guy a new life in Chicago, and Khalil Mack is on his way to a Pro Bowl All-Pro season.
And I think it makes Mac feel better when he realizes he's not alone. It's not about, okay, Mac, we need you, buddy. I think Mac is it's like that alpha mentality. When you're around other alphas, it makes you step up. So he's not going to get tired because it's all on him. He's having Quinn step up, who started the game off great with tackles in the backfield. Gibson's getting pressure in. Roquan Smith is getting sacks. So I feel like everybody's feeding off each other, which is allowing Mac to play like younger, so to speak. And there's like a bunch of dogs over there. They're just having a big club dub party back there. And I think Mac is really feeding off of it. Mac, who was questionable all week long, who had an injury, playing through toughness and leaving it all on the field.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what the clock does, how the NFL calendar works. I think he wants to win, guys.
Yeah,
he wants to win, and he's winning his one-on-ones.
Yep.
One thing I wanted to bring up is I know it's really early in the season to talk about this, but before the season even started, Robert Quinn was everyone's absolute guarantee post-June cut that he's going to save them a bunch of money on the cap. With him playing this way, is that still such an easy decision to make, to say you got to cut Robert Quinn to save the money, or does Robert Quinn maybe stick around for another year?
He should definitely stay around for another year. I mean, we're emotional. We were going off of a small sample size, but the fact that he was injured, the team knows more than we know. The team knows he was injured and everything else. But with these numbers, why? We don't have that many draft picks. We don't have a first round draft pick, excuse me. And so, like, we already have needs that we need to fill. We don't need to create more needs. That's my personal opinion. It depends on where you want to spend the money at. We got starting receivers. I think they're going to make a case to even move on for Allen Robinson or not. But like, why create a need, especially when let's see how we finish the year off. But where's the Bears in are we still leading the league in sacks? Like,
it's close. I don't know after today and when the numbers are still coming in, but
why?
It's possible. But the only thing I can think of is if they love Travis Gibson that much, maybe he becomes the other guy.
No, but it's the same thing we were talking about with DHC. Sometimes it's just cool for a guy to come in and give a little spurt. It's different when you start and you give him that responsibility. You know, some guys are good with small sample packages. They can give you a maximum effort for these 4 or 5 plays. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, yeah, totally. Gibson should be. That's what he got drafted for. But like, let Quinn run out his contract, unless it be come down to some tight financials. But we need pass rushers. We're gonna. That's especially in the playoffs.
Yes.
Green Bay is gonna score points. Green Bay is gonna score 27, 28 points.
Right.
And so we're gonna need pass rushers.
There is a potential out on Robert Quinn's contract next season that would lessen the blow if you release him or even trade him. But I do think, and a lot depends on what the decision making. A lot depends on Travis Gibson, who right now is starting to look like he should be the heir apparent to Robert Quinn and or Khalil Mack, whichever. But because he's playing so well, I really love that draft pick when Pace made that. But my gut feel right off the top is that Quinn should be on this team next year if we've got a good feeling that he can continue to play at the high level that he has now. Now, a lot of people in the chat room are asking about Sam. Laz calls him Sam Mustipher. He is our new Charles Leno, has to be replaced, standing around with his hands on his hips while the running back is fighting for a first down. He should have pushed the pile. You guys have any comments on Sam Mustipher?
I saw positive plays. I probably missed that one, but I saw a lot of positive plays from that interior line. I mean, they were getting some really good push. There was some plays I'm like, yo, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
But it's football. It's a 60-minute game. I must have missed that one play with his hands on his hips, but I saw some positives, and it came down to brute strength. So it looks like he is improving, and so. Hey yo, how many rushing yards did we get, John? I ain't mad at him right now. I am not
over 140 total. But yeah, I mean it's hard to replace a center in the middle of the year or in the middle of a season. If they were that readily available, they'd probably pick one off the scrap heap and plug it in if they thought it was going to be better. And then you obviously don't want to change a lot of the chemistry you've built on that line by moving one of the guards over to center either. So because you could I mean. Theoretically, you could move either Whitehair or Daniels to center since both of them came into the league, or both of them have played center. But you maybe don't want to mess with that too much because you could move Bars into the guard, I guess. But if you really wanted to start playing chess with this whole thing. But I think they kind of have to make do with what they have for the sake of chemistry. And the line had a good game. They ran for over 140 yards today. So, and I would maybe think this would be something they use a draft pick on next year. Maybe whether it be 3rd, 4th, 5th round, maybe they go out and they get a center that they think can contribute to the team. But I think you're probably stuck with Mustipher at center for the remainder of the season.
And a lot of people, excuse me, Tyler, a lot of people are saying, put James Daniels in at center because he was drafted to be the center. He played a center for a portion of the season, but he apparently did not do a good job at calling out plays because that's the center's responsibility. And James Daniels had some really outstanding blocks today. He really pancaked defensive back down in the backfield, the defensive backfield. But he also made mistakes on that 3rd down and 1 where the Bears really needed to pick up a first down. That was James Daniels at the right guard position who failed to hold his block, and Damian Williams was stopped before the first down. So we can all, I think that let's watch Danny Shinman on Thursday, Bear Truth, to see if that's going to be one of his storylines, the work of the offensive line, because I think it would be really good for us to kind of sift through what happened at the offensive line, because everybody made a mistake. Cody Whitehair, Peters, everyone in that offensive line made at least one mistake. I didn't see that one play that Laz was referring to about Mustipher. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I just didn't see it. But I did see Mustipher doing some good stuff out there. So I'm not ready to give up on the kid from Notre Dame.
Yeah, and like I said, I think this is going to be unless injuries come in, I think this is what you're going to have for the rest of the year at the offensive line. I think this is what they're comfortable with. I think that they think whoever is at that position they're at is the most that they can do. They're up to their best potential when at the position they're at right now. So we'll see. I just don't. And we saw what Matt Nagy's approach to the offensive line was last year with the Rashad Coward project. They were so stubborn to not change that until the team was in a tailspin. So sans that, I think you're stuck. I don't want to say stuck, but I think you're going to see a consistent starting 5 on the line.
Mm-hmm. Steven is asking about what our thoughts were on Williams getting stopped on carries where there were a short yardage situation. Was the offensive line not getting enough push? I think that my opinion is that when that happened, it was sort of a predictable situation, and the Raiders were kind of teeing up for that run. They were looking for that run. I'm not ready to give up on Damian Williams on short yardage situations, but I will tell you that Khalil Herbert gets it done. And so I don't mind seeing him on short yardage situations, Steven.
Give him the ball.
Absolutely.
I'm not in one for saying let's just keep giving the guy a chance when we know there's somebody else who can probably do it better. So give the ball to Khalil Herbert. He finds the hole quicker, he finds the lane faster, and he can just kind of bowling ball his way in there. What is 5'9", 215 or whatever he is. So he's able to. His vision is very, very good. So give him the ball. If we need a yard, we don't need to be fancy about it. Give the guy the ball and see if he can pick up a yard.
Yeah, and I agree with Laz there. I would love to see some more off tackle runs on the short yardage than always just going up the middle,
Right.
because that is kind of predictable.
Because it was 2 plays. I'm like, why don't they run outside? There's nobody out there. I'm like, but I know hindsight's 20/20, and I got a better view than what they do.
Yeah,
but I'm just like, there's no DB over there. Run to the side, run to the side. I'm like, we got the lead. Calm down, Tyler. Don't be critical.
Well, guys, I think it's time to put a bow on this one. You want to go around the table and offer up final thoughts, or you guys want to stick around for another hour or two and talk Bears football?
No, I think we're losing a lot of White Sox fans right now. Their game with the Astros is about to start, and so we'll let you get back. I know that they're not going to go watch the game until we're done, so let's give them that courtesy to go ahead and wrap up.
All right, I'll start things off. I want to just let everybody know that we got tons of Chicago Bears coverage this week, and it starts tomorrow with Greg Gabriel talks football. Greg has got a special point of view on stuff because he was 10 years scouting director for the Chicago Bears. He's worked with the New York Giants. He's got over 3 decades of experience in the NFL. He's worked a couple of years at the XFL. So when Greg Gabriel talks, you should listen, because even if you don't agree with him, his opinion comes with a lot of experience. So that is tomorrow. And then we're kind of playing the White Sox show by ear because of their status tonight. So the South Burbs Hitman guys might be on tomorrow. They might not. So we'll sort that out. But in terms of our Bears coverage, it'll be back to Tuesday. It'll be Dan and Aldo Bear Their Souls. Can't wait to hear Dan Aguirre say some nice things about Khalil Mack, because I'm going to really press him. I'm going to say, come on, you were wrong about Khalil Mack. So that's going to be an interesting discussion. And then on Wednesday, we have Buffone 55.
Thursday this week.
That is correct. I forgot about that. So I better make sure to tell our guest that it's Thursday. And then Bear Truth. Well, we got tons of other Bears shows. We got over 16 hours of fresh Bears programming every week during the regular season. So the best way to stay on top of it is to subscribe right here to the Barroom Network on your YouTube channel. And if you can't catch the video cast, make sure that you subscribe on the audio podcast, because most of the shows, the audio version is available on podcast. You can get it iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, blah, blah, blah. Tyler, all yours, brother.
Oh, man. First of all, it's always a pleasure to be with you guys. This was dope. It's so much like we talk about. I mean, Bears are winning. It's part of the journey. We truly, truly love it. And thank you all, everybody in the chat. Everybody in the chat spending time with us. I wanted to say thank you all again. You all make the show. I thought I saw my man 4,000 Clovers. Appreciate you, my guy, my man Robert. Appreciate you guys. You guys know I was in St. Louis last week. John and Aldo, definitely held it down and did a fantastic show. But I was in a certain store, and then I saw somebody with a bear hat, and I said, "Yo, bear down!" And then I guess my guy Tez Epps recognized my voice. He's a truck driver out of Chicago, so I wanted to shout out my guy right there. We were at a leadership conference with over 20,000 business owners. He's on the Diamond Jill and Derek Kosek team out of Chicago, Illinois. So shout out to my guy Tez and all the truck drivers out there. I'm glad me, John, and Aldo can keep you guys awake. So stay awake on those roads. That's what it's about. And it's really, really cool to link up with somebody who's a fan of the show. who takes his time to listen. We truly do appreciate you guys, and we'll probably be talking about doing some barroom meetups. I know me and John are going to a Pittsburgh game coming up soon, and so we'll definitely be there. On the flip side of that, I want to give a special shout out to the Mombasa Relief Initiative, the board. That whole team, they were actually at the game. They all flew from Chicago and went to the game. And so that whole team was there. Shout out to all you guys. We're getting ready to go. We're preparing to go back to Africa in March. So heads up on that. Getting really excited for that. Getting ready. We're in the process of building 3-4 additional classrooms for students. And we're shipping over about 50 now computers. And we're going to teach some of these kids how to build computers and a craft. And so super, super excited about that. But besides that, I just want to say great Bears win, Bears Nation. And go into your Monday. Be productive. Let's punch Monday in the face. Maintain your peace and bear down. Appreciate you all.
All right. Hey, can I just say real quickly, truck drivers, boy, did we learn how valuable they are to our lives during the pandemic. My God. Thank you for all the people who are out there trucking, working all sorts of hours to get ourselves stacked at stores, and all the people who are doing the stacking and so forth. This is a great country, and it's an even better country when we realize and support all of the people who are making our lives a little easier with their hard work.
Hey, and then real quick, John, sorry, brother. Aldo, you just reminded me. With our truck drivers, I know you guys need to stay awake. You need to stay awake because you're driving like pretty much like a tank, so to speak. And so anybody in the chat, you can definitely check out freedomgains.us for natural B vitamin energy to keep you alert. And then I hope everybody tells about the show. So you can follow me on Instagram at freedom_gains. Okay, it's all about fitness motivation, spiritual motivation, and just overall thought process of positivity. Okay, but we win together when we fuel our minds and our bodies. From our neck downs, we're $30 an hour, but from the neck up, we're priceless. So it's all about what we feed ourselves. Okay, be blessed, y'all.
All right, I don't need anything to keep me awake on this show. This show is one big caffeine pill after another. But I do want to say great Bears victory today. I want to thank the Chicago Bears for winning this game, because I don't think we saw the dragon veins in my neck one time throughout this entire show. I didn't have to yell or scream. I didn't have to call Matt Nagy names necessarily. So that was good for my health. Not just mental health, but physical health. I don't feel like I just had a heart attack when we're getting off of this show. So that's great. But overall, love watching the Bears when they have a game plan that works out. Love watching them when they're successful. Love talking to all of you guys when they are successful. So, well, like I always say, whether this is your first time listening or 50th time listening, appreciate each and every one of you. Packers week, guys. Packers week. This is what it's all about. The Packers and the Bears play next week. So let's go. Biggest game of the year. It's going on. The Bears have a chance to win this game. So let's get hyped for it. But that will do it for this edition of Bear Football. For Ellis, I'm John Buffone. We'll see you next week, everybody.